Now, it's hardly revelatory to learn that President Joe Biden misspeaks now and again. He's full of gaffes. He loses his train of thought. He wanders and meanders aimlessly on the stage with his microphone, mumbling like a crazy uncle who should be out in his bathrobe trying to chase down the newspaper and the neighbor's dog. And then someone has to wrangle him and bring him back in lest he wander into traffic and hurt himself. That's nothing new. We're used to that with this president. But over the weekend, we got one incredible jewel of a 48-second soundbite that really needs to be broken down and analyzed at the granular level so you can recognize exactly how damaged this individual is and how much he's damaging our country. Here, let's take a look.
You know, my dad, when I got elected vice president, he said, Joey, Uncle Frank fought in the Battle of the Bulge. He was not feeling very well now, not because of the Battle of the Bulge, but he said, and he won the Purple Heart, and he never received it. He never got it. Do you think you could help him get it? We'll surprise him. So I got him the Purple Heart. He had won it in the Battle of the Bulge. And I remember he came over to the house, and I came out, and he said, present it to him. Okay, we had the family there. I said, Uncle Frank, you won this, and I went to him. He said, I don't want the damn thing. No, I'm serious. He said, I don't want it. I said, what's the matter, Uncle Frank? You earned it. He said, yeah, but the others died. The others died. I lived. I don't want it.
Now, let's just set aside for a moment that this entire story is a giant, steaming, fragrant pile of cow dung. All right, let's set that aside for a moment. I know we already know it. We all recognize that this is just BS. But it's classic Biden. Classic. I mean, this is 50 years of this man's career where he tells this story that is meant to be sanctimonious. It's meant to isolate you so that you have to look at him and wonder and be amazed at the virtue of him or his family members. It's this critical moment in their lives. And, well, it's all BS. Well, we'll get to that in a moment. But this is classic Biden. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'm going to sanctimoniously rip your heart out with this emotion because I'm going to stand for what's good and what's virtuous. Those men died. I don't deserve that Purple Heart. Come on, man. Also, let's point out the fact that this entire story is a brilliant allegory for how the Biden family works. Think about this for a minute. Biden's uncle has gone for what, 60, 70 years without his Purple Heart from the Battle of the Bulge? And as soon as Joe Biden becomes vice president, immediately he gets the phone call with family members asking for favors. Hey, Joe, now that you're vice president, can you get a Purple Heart to my brother? You know, like somebody at the Pentagon is opening up a side drawer and pulling out a Purple Heart and saying, oh, yes, sir, Mr. Vice President, here's your Purple Heart. Go ahead and give it to whoever you want. But the Biden family, I mean, Biden's admitting right now that they view public office as transactional. My dad called me now that I'm vice president. He wants me to get a Purple Heart for his brother. Who does that? You know, so for anybody out there who believes that their family member, their brother, their uncle, they deserve a Purple Heart because of getting wounded in combat, the story here, the lesson from Joe Biden is, well, unless you become vice president, there's really nothing we can do for you. He was a senator for how many decades? And at no point we're like, yeah, maybe he deserves a Purple Heart. Let's get him a Purple Heart. Nope. But now that you're vice president, let's get him that Purple Heart. But there's even more to this story that we need to break down. Let's start it again from the beginning, shall we?
You know, my dad, when I got elected vice president, he said, Joey, Uncle Frank fought in the Battle of the Bulge. He was not feeling very well now, not because of the Battle of the Bulge, but he said, and he won the Purple Heart, and he never received it.
So let me pause there for a minute, because I know that a lot of people who watch this program are members of the military. They're either active duty or they're retired, or maybe they have family members who are active duty. There's something that Joe Biden says throughout this entire video clip that must be fingernails on a chalkboard for you. People in the military do not win a medal like it's some trophy at the end of a race. Like they are given a prize that they've earned because they finished first. That's not how this works. Nobody wins a medal. Now I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. When I started my broadcast career, I used that word one time on the radio. when I talked about somebody winning a medal, a Silver Star, I think it was, when I was describing somebody. I was corrected once. People in the military do not win a medal, they earn a medal. They are awarded a medal, and especially a Purple Heart. Win? Win? Who goes out there thinking, you know what, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win me a Purple Heart? No one thinks that way. Okay, maybe John Kerry, but that's a whole other story, and I don't want to waste time on it right now. But I was corrected once 10 years ago when I made that mistake, and I learned it immediately. This guy's been in public office for 5 decades. Are you telling me that nobody's ever explained this to him and corrected him? So I apologize. As he kept saying, well, you want it, you want it, you want it. No, it's not how this works. And it's kind of offensive to hear it laid out this way. All right, let's continue.
You think you could help him get it will surprise him. So I got him the Purple Heart. He had won it in the Battle of the Bulge. And I remember he came over to the house, and I came out, and he said, present it to him. Okay, we had the family there. I said, Uncle Frank, you won this, and I went to peace. He said, I don't want the damn thing. I'm serious. He said, I don't want it. I said, what's the matter, Uncle Frank? You earned it. He said, yeah, but the others died. The others died. I lived. I don't want it.
There you go. Lesson learned. One other question. You know, he's got the podium there with the 2 microphones. You see it all the time. And then for some reason, he decides to pick up the karaoke mic and put it right under his lower lip and wander aimlessly around. And is this because he's lost his vocal quality at his age and he can't actually fill the room with his voice? Why can't he just stand at the podium and just speak into the microphones there? Have you noticed that this is something that he does constantly, just meandering? And it's always with the handheld mic. What's wrong with the 2 mics on the podium? Why does he have to have the handheld mic? It's just very weird. Is he doing an Elvis thing? Is he like Dreamgirls? What? All right. But setting that aside for a moment and setting aside the absolutely annoying continued use of the term won a Purple Heart at the Battle of the Bulge, there's a couple of problems with this story. Just a couple problems. Now let's go back to the very beginning again and hear how this is set up.
You know, my dad, when I got elected vice president, he said, Joey.
All right, pause it there for a moment. He was elected vice president in 2008. He was sworn in as vice president in 2009. Okay, go ahead.
Uncle Frank fought in the Battle of the Bulge. He was not feeling very well now, not because of the Battle of the Bulge, but he said, and he won the Purple Heart, and he never received it.
So there you go. So here's the story as laid out. In 2008, when Joe Biden was elected vice president, his dad called him to talk about his uncle who had been injured in the Battle of the Bulge, and he's not doing too well right now, but he's still alive too. So everyone here is, see, here's the problem. Uncle Frank, the war hero from the Battle of the Bulge, he died in 1999. Joe Biden wasn't elected to the vice presidency until 2008. So, I mean, that's a pretty big problem with this phone call from his dad, isn't it? Oh, there's another problem. His dad, the guy who made the phone call, he died in 2002. Now, I don't know what's going on over in the White House. Maybe they're doing seances or something. But as we began this entire story, let's just finish it in the same place. This entire thing is a rancid, stinking, steamy pile of cow dung. More to come on O'Connor tonight.